So everything you need to know about functions, sort of. Now this is going to give you basically everything you need to know at this point. It's not going to give you everything you'll ever need to know about functions in every language. There's just way too much to talk about. So we already talked about how you can have a function, and a function has certain parameters, that's the input, and it can return an output. And then of course you can call the function by its name over here by giving it inputs. So a couple restrictions and rules that you should know. First of all, there can only be one return statement in the function. You can have like if statements where you can technically return multiple things, but whenever the function runs, only one thing will return. So technically you can have multiple return statements, but a function can only run one of those return statements. So let me walk you through an example. Let's, instead of just multiplying any product by 2, we will see if it's even first and then multiply by 2. So if n modulo 2 is equal to 0, then end, and then we can say return n, okay? And over here we can say return n times 2. That means if it's odd, okay, it'll return the double, but if it's even, it'll just return the single one. So we should expect 6 and then 4 over here. And what do we get 6 and 4. Now you'll notice there are multiple return statements. However, only one of them is running at a time. We can't say return n times 2, then over here return n times 3. This would actually cause an error because after a return statement, it expects the function to end. And even if you're in a language where this wouldn't throw an error, it would return the first one and then just stop running the function after that. In fact, because a function doesn't even need to return something, we can use a return function to just end the function right away. So let's stick with this basic format, and over here we're not even going to return anything, we're just going to go straight ahead and then print n times 2, okay? Which means this is redundant. By the way, this is bad code. Don't actually do this. If you're going to return something, always return something. If you're not, don't return something. But you can actually do this, right? And we can see that if n is divisible by 2, so if it's even, it'll return just n right away. If not, it'll always print out the double. Like that. I guess technically I should have printed it like this, and gone like that, and then would print out both. But we can see that because it already returns something on the even case, it doesn't automatically go and finish the rest of the thing. It's done once it's returned something. Now, of course, functions can have multiple parameters, like we can say n, thing, ma, bob, like that. We can have as many as we want, and this can be of all different data types. A thing could be a string, ma, bob could be, I don't know, like tables. So we can say like string. Okay, that is terrible spelling, string. I like Lua for the other one. And we can go like that, and we can always print thing when this happens, and if not, we just print n times 2, and we can just ignore n right like that. And there you go, you have a function with 2 different inputs and of different types, and you can do whatever you want. So that is a basic rundown of functions. Next up, we're going to learn about optional arguments, which is really cool because that allows us to set defaults that we don't necessarily need to specify.